So I sat down and I started thinking to myself, so what is going to happen? And I started off with obviously the all-seeing eye. You start thinking, stuff going on.
Truth is stranger than fiction, 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 fiction. To keep the knowledge from our mind.
Been bandied around the internet quite a bit, but if you shuffle the Olympics 2012 logo around, you can spell the word Zion.
Indeed.
And you know, there's a lot of stigma against the word, and you know, for no reason whatsoever. But obviously, Zion stands for the term New Jerusalem.
Okay, so it's 2012, and the Olympics are coming. There's a torch that's carried all around the place, and this flame that is passed from this torch
You start thinking,
is to convey to the people
stuff going on.
that the Olympics are about to start.
Truth is stranger than fiction, 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 fiction.
Now, funnily enough, these were the world's first stage for global terrorism. You know, the very first global, declared as global terrorism. The first act was in the 1972 Munich Olympics.
Indeed, yeah.
And these Olympics, there were 11 Israelis killed, so we've got the number 11 there. And they were killed by a group called Black September, which is obviously the 9th month. So it's obviously 9/11 you've got there.
Yeah.
And that particular Olympics were hosted to 121 countries, which is 11 times 11. So you've got a significant event there with the first global stage for terrorism, as it is. Started thinking, well, then the year 1984, there's obviously Olympics in that year, and it's synonymous with the George Orwell book of Big Brother, and a completely oppressive state, if you like, New World Order kind of background.
Yeah.
And I briefly remembered hearing things about a closing ceremony in the 1984 Olympics, and did some rooting around on the internet, and obviously came across a video in the 1984 Olympics, which was held in Los Angeles. They closed the ceremony, and the audience didn't even expect this, because most of the audience thought it was real at the time. It closed with a UFO flying over the Olympic Stadium. So it closed with a UFO flying over the Olympic Stadium. The audience didn't even expect it. It closed with a UFO flying over the Olympic Stadium. So I sat down and I started thinking to myself, so what is going to happen?
The flame this year was actually conveyed on this plane named the Firefly from Athens, Greece, from Mount Olympus, of course.
My own research into this, I wanted to find out if what was saying could be proven, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, first thing that brought to my mind was the poem by William Blake. And William Blake wrote a poem in the 18th century called Jerusalem. And there's a paragraph, the final few words in that poem says, "I will not cease from mental flight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land." So basically, William Blake was a known 18th century esotericist with connections to the Freemasons. And, he was famous for such pieces of artwork as Horizon, the Creator, which is a big picture of the Creator with a compass opened up like a pyramid. Obviously, this is something that's clearly been in the making for. I mean, I'd presume that those roads have been named them roads for over 100 years, because the street map hasn't changed in that time. So I sat down and I started thinking to myself, so what is going to happen? Obviously, this is something that's clearly been in the making for.
Only the spaceship has been created. And now, methinks we have a visitor. The alien himself.
A little bit of research, there's stuff on the net about this as well. The company who created that logo is a company called Wally Owens, and Wolf Owens is a brand agency. And this brand agency was set up by a chap called Wally Owens, and this man was responsible for branding corporate Europe. So basically, GE Capital, all these logos that have kind of, sunk into the subconscious of sorts, these are all created by this man called Wally Owens, who created the 2012 logo as well. And it turns out his dad was a Freemason.
Nice.
So the chances are that, there's an interview online where he references his dad trying to get him to be a Freemason. He never actually says whether he is or not, but the chances are it's in the family. And, you know, there's these messages in the logos that this man's produced. It's a Freemasonic branding, you know, company for corporate Europe.
Yeah.
For almost 100 years, you have celebrated the best that humanity has to offer. You call it the Olympic Games. And for that, and for the cities which have kept the Olympic ideal alive, I salute you.
So you got this really strange thing out of the middle of nowhere. No one was expecting it, and I don't know how you'd ever connect Olympics with this UFO event in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
But basically, obviously, 1984 symbolic year, UFO landed. So you start thinking stuff going on.
Yeah.
Not sure. I can't really put my finger on things. And at this point, I'd decided to move away from the Olympics for a bit because I felt that you know, I wasn't going to find much more for the time being. And it got me involved in looking at symbols of sorts and general symbolism and corporate logos. And I started off with obviously the all-seeing eye with a street map of you know, the Zion Olympics in 2012, like biblical road names left, right, and centre, symbology and symbols and everything. You know, it's all over the place. There's a place called Bethnal Green. Bethnal Green, Bethany sounds the same, pretty close. You know, not too far off.
Yeah.
Bethnal Green is 3.3 miles. 33 degree Masons and everything, 3.3 miles from Charing Cross, the centre of London.
Yeah.
So symbolic and numerology and everything that goes with it.
Of course, I don't know if you've heard, but if we look at the research of Ralph Ellis, he talks that Mary Magdalene might have been Mary of Bethany. You know, there's a whole connection between Bethany and the you know, the family of Jesus, if you will, or you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the whole idea of the Dan Brown bloodline and the Priory of Sion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I'll get onto that shortly, but that's all part of the plan. That's all part of what's intended here. They wanted to unseat the public with the idea that there's a lost bloodline of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is you know, pretty scary. Top it off, but on a funny note, have you heard of EastEnders before?
Come again? Say it again.
EastEnders, the English soap opera.
No, I have not. No.
No, right. It's a popular thing that most of, I'd say 90% of the population probably watch it. Unfortunately,
Really?
It's those typical soap operas, and if you watch the intro sequence to that, basically behind the EastEnders logo, where you know, on this intro sequence, is the Olympics 2012 site. So basically this thing that's making everyone forget about what's going on around them, that's distracting them, providing them with rubbish stories and terrible plot lines and everything, you know, stopping people from thinking, is symbolically showing this area on the TV screen every night of the week.